Oh boy, this is not going to be a positive video. Hey guys, King Narakami here, and if you're anything like me, you've been really excited for the release of Metaphor ReFantazio, originally Project ReFantazio. The game is going to be coming out in about 2 weeks now, and of course, the demo just dropped today for Steam, PS5, Xbox, all across the world, and let's just say that the PC version, especially when it comes to the Steam Deck, is not up to par. So what's exactly wrong with it? Let's find out. Sit back, relax, let's get it on. Hey guys, what's going on? King Narakami here, and as you can tell, this is not going to be the most positive video in the world because, man, I'm going to be honest, this is almost a disaster of a PC port that Atlas has cooked up for Metaphor ReFantazio. Now, I know what you're going to say. This is King, this is just a demo. It's not the end of the world. And yes, you're right. This is just the demo, but this is still a taste of what's to come in the future for the game, in my opinion. The game is like less than 2 weeks away, so this demo, it's been ready to go for a while, I assume. So, and this is what we got. So I'm mainly playing on Steam Deck right here, and I gotta tell you, this game is basically borderline unplayable on it. And let's go ahead and find out. I've got some gameplay. We're just going to go through it. I didn't want to record it, do a script or anything. I just kind of wanted to do this, you know, off the cuff and everything. Wanted to play with you guys. So, of course, you start in the demo right here. Let me show you what I have for my settings, because I'm telling you, even on the lowest settings, this does not run well. Like I said, this is the Steam Deck. I've got it running at 720p, VSync on. The graphic settings. First off, let me go over this. The graphic settings in this port, there's hardly any. Your graphics quality right there just pretty much goes over, you know, intermediate, high, low, and it pretty much just adjusts the rendering scale, texture quality, and ambient occlusion, and that's pretty much it. So, if you're on Steam Deck, if you want to try this, you're going to want to put it on pretty much low settings the entire time. Rendering scale, 75%, ambient occlusion off, texture quality. And guys, I'm not going to lie, the game does not look pretty at 75% rendering scale. And even then, we still have problems here. There's no option for anti-aliasing. There's a lot of flickering going on and jitteriness with the graphics and everything. It just does not look good, guys. And of course, we are not going to maintain a 60 FPS on this game, unfortunately. And it's so sad because I know that the Steam Deck can handle much more demanding games than this. So let's just go on right quick. So we just gotta avoid these creatures right here. It can already tell the frame rate's up there at like 45, chugging along. Not the worst thing in the world. Maybe we can lock it at 30 in this area, or maybe even 40 FPS. But when you get to the top of this hill right here, this is pretty much when everything goes like down the drain, and it's not good at all. And like I said, this is pretty much where it goes all the crap. Look at that. The frame rate dips down. We were about 40, 50 FPS during that cutscene. We are down all the way to 24 FPS, 720p, no ambient occlusion, 75% rendering scale. This is not optimized well, and I know a lot of people are having problems with this. This isn't just a Steam Deck issue. This is a whole PC issue, and apparently this goes on to the consoles as well, because apparently the PS5 version has frame rate issues. But of course, it's not going to be as bad here, where, you know, this game is not optimized for PC at all. Look at that, 23 FPS, 24, just hovering. If you look at that, that is just awful. And the game doesn't even look that good to begin with. Like I said, we're at 75% rendering scale right here. And you said, oh, King, you can always, you know, lower the resolution and everything and probably get better performance. And you're absolutely right. So let's just do that right quick. Let's set it to, because, of course, another thing that is not great for Steam Deck is that this game doesn't natively support 16:10 resolution. You can go to 800p, but it's still going to have black bars on the top of the bottom of the screen. Guys, let's go to 540p, okay? 540p is not the worst thing in the world. If we can bump up, you know, FSR 1, especially on the smaller screen, still can look good. We don't even have FSR 1 on right here, and the gameplay is still struggling. We're not even hitting 30 FPS here, guys. The GPU's almost maxed out. Even at this, it pretty much goes between like 80 and 97%. The entire, you just saw it 99 right there. I mean, this is just, this is not good, guys. And what's worse, the resolution does, lower resolutions does not do any favors for this game right here. So we're just going to go back to 720p. And not to mention, the battery life for this game is pretty much abysmal. The battery draw, like 24, 20, 23, 24 watts. Look, oh my god, this is just, it looks bad. And this isn't even the worst part. This is pretty much the first part where I experienced some major hiccups with the game. But it's not until you get to the town area that we're going to visit to next. Because some of you may be like, okay, maybe it's just one area and it's not that big of a deal, King. You know, this is a newer game and everything. It's 2024. The Steam Deck is not up to par with a lot of PCs. It's just a handheld, and you would be right. Yes, but like I said, the Steam Deck is capable of handling much more demanding games than this. So what we're doing here, we are now at the town, and this is another place in the story that I had in the demo that the Steam Deck performed very, very poorly in, and I think it pretty much went for the entirety of, you know, the PC, almost the entirety of PC gamers and everything. So 37 FPS right here during cutscenes, not that big of a deal. We can lock that down to 30. But look at that. As soon as we get back in, you saw a dip to 26 right there. Let's just wander the town a little bit. 33 FPS. You know, it's kind of in and out. But if you go to this area right here and just looking for, oh my god. Not only does the game just look bad in general right here, there's a lot of like, this, I wouldn't call it distortions, but a lot of like flickering in the back and everything. And it's very alias, and it's 21, 22 FPS. That is not a good look, and we're not even doing anything. So as we're just, you know, as we're walking forward, the frame rate's not that terrible if you stay on the main street, but once you look back and start walking around and everything, you can see the frame rate just completely dip. And like I said, we're on 75% resolution scale here, running at 720p, ambient occlusion off, lowest settings, other than we don't want to run it at 50% scale because that would just look, what's the point of even playing at this point? This is just so poorly optimized, and it's just really sad to see. Now, these are, of course, just overworld moments. What about the actual dungeons and everything? Well, let's go ahead and get to that right quick. So here we are in pretty much the first little mini dungeon that you traverse during the story right here. And I mean, it doesn't run terrible, especially like the actual like combat once you get into it. So we're going to team up right here and face this enemy, and just keep an eye on the FPS counter up there. So let's squad up, let's battle. So it's pretty much during this area in the dungeon when you battle a locked 60 FPS, at least during combat, which is, you know, that's fine and everything. You know, that'll work. That'll do. It's acceptable, especially during the, you know, combat and everything. But a big part of this game is the exploration. And while the dungeon traversal isn't terrible, at least for this one right here, because, you know, we're hovering around 50 FPS, you know, 40, 45, 50. Not the worst thing in the world, but obviously every dungeon is not going to be like this, and it kind of makes me worried for like later dungeons if they put more, you know, detail in them. Let's do another battle just to know I wasn't bullshitting you. So we're in another battle right quick. Pretty much a locked 60 FPS in this area at the very least. Enemy's going to get a turn. We're just going to kill them right here. Not terrible for, you know, the actual dungeons. So now I want to show you gameplay from the Nordmines, the next dungeon, if you will, area in this game. So, you know, we're standing at like 32 FPS. It's not the worst thing in the world right here. You definitely want to lock this to 30 if you're planning on playing this on Steam Deck. You know, it's not the worst thing in the world, but for some reason the GPU is absolutely maxed out up there at 99%. And even if we, you know, change the render scale If we go to the graphics right here, change the rendering scale to 50%. We're still maxed out at 99 for the GPU right here. I mean, I don't know what's going on here. This shouldn't be that big of an issue. This is a pretty big game, but it's not like the most demanding game I've ever seen. It's running on the Persona 5 Royal engine, for God's sake. So I don't really know what the hell is going on here. It's just not optimized well for PC gaming. But you know, we'll just walk around here, look at these enemies. So we're just going to knock out some of these enemies right here. You know, we're keeping above 30 FPS in this area right here. Not that big of a deal. We went a little further and we're going to fight this bird right here. But as you can see, these battles in this area right here, had a little trouble getting it, but they're not going to run like at a smooth 60 FPS like the other ones. It's up there, but you can see some frame drops, and honestly, I'm not sure why, because you know, this is turn-based battle right here. Steam Deck shouldn't have that many problems with it to begin with. It's still fine, but it's serviceable, but to me, this doesn't really make up for what we experienced earlier with the other areas. You know, once you make it over that canyon, over in the desert, over in that first area that you're in, or when you're in the town, which I can only, you know, guess you're going to see a lot more towns and everything there. So, all of this, to me, does not bode well for the game itself coming out. We're only a couple of weeks away from its actual release, and this is what we're getting so far. This early in the game, having, you know, this many problems, I just don't see the game doing that well at all when it comes to, you know, its actual performance on, you know, consoles and other people's PCs. Because if we're having this many problems now, I can only imagine later on in game when everything ramps up what it's going to be like. It's just, I really hope that Atlus can fix this before the release, because this is a big release, but this feels like a giant leap back for the quality of product that they have been releasing on PC recently. P5R's PC release was pretty good and everything. We had some more PC releases. P4G was kind of at first, but it got better over time. And P5R was just a great release, and I feel like this has been a big step back for Atlus for their PC games. So hopefully this will be fixed by then. You know, I could be crying. This isn't just a Steam Deck issue though, because I know other people on PC are having the exact same issues, even on higher end PCs. This should not be a thing, and Atlus really needs to look into this, because honestly, in the state it's in, it's almost embarrassing to see. And I want this game to do as well as it can. It's a new IP for Atlus, and I just really want it to do well. And at this rate, I'm very worried about it. So I just want to make this quick video right quick, tell you my thoughts on the demo so far. The game's great. I'm really enjoying it so far. The combat's great, but the performance aspect and everything, it's just not there, guys. And Atlus needs to do something about this at some point. So let me know what you guys think. Have you played this on Steam Deck? Do you own it on PC? Are you having any performance issues? Especially if you're on consoles, are you having problems with the demo on consoles or PC? Let me know down in the comment section. If you like the video, leave a like and subscribe for more Atlus content. I'll see you guys in the next video. King out.